All right, we are live in the house on this beautiful Tuesday. This is the day that the Lord has made, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready to continue rejoicing and stay glad in it. For those of you that are coming on, please, ladies and gentlemen, do me a big favor. Hit that like button. Is it raining? Hit that share button and tag Lolly Dolly, everybody. Please do that favor for me. Let them know Prophet Ramon, the squad, and the Ramonepreston show. We are live in his house right here from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. And this is another edition of, you already know, the Ramonepreston show. I'm so excited, y'all. I've got a lot of great things I want to share with you today. I hope, I don't even know why I say hope, because I know it. So I'm not even going to say I hope. I'm going to rephrase that even before I say it. I know the show has been bringing a lot of value to so many people. And if you're continuing to get value from the Ramonepreston show, I want to say thank you so much for being a part of the show, for participating, for engaging, for showing up as often as you can. Please do me a favor while you're hitting the like button, the share button, tagging somebody. I want you to drop in the comments what city you representing or what city you're watching from. Next week, I'll be watching in my head from Miami, so I'm not representing the MIA, but I'm going to be MIA. So for those of you that are watching, please hit the like button, hit the share button. It seemed like right when I get in front of the camera, my nose started getting stopped up. I was doing fine just like 5 minutes ago. And then I sit down, I get in front of the lights, the camera, and the action, and all of a sudden, here we go. My sinuses start, whoop. You ain't getting ready to talk clear today, bro. But guess what? I'm doing one of the things that I'm going to be talking to you about that you need to do today. So welcome to the Ramonepreston show. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Ramonepreston. And every Monday through Friday, we share with you information, valuable information that is designed to help you properly start, structure, and scale your businesses, your ministries, your income streams, or your wealth building dreams. Maybe you're looking to start, structure, and scale all of the above. Well, that's what we specialize in. And everything that I share with you on this show is a direct extension of what we provide as products, programs, and services in our organizational enterprise, whether it's through our consulting group, our coaching program, our online educational training program. This is the information that we live. This is the information that we teach. This is the information that we perpetuate through every channel, through every vehicle, through every division that we have connected to our organization. So welcome to the Ramonepreston show. Today, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about how to take unreasonable actions in business. How to take unreasonable actions in business. Now, I want to begin by sharing some very startling, and perhaps it could be some igniting information with you, because right now on most major news outlets, there's a lot of information going around about the new COVID strains or variants of COVID or corona that seem to be emerging in many major and minor cities across the United States of America and many areas around the world. Now, for some of you, when you hear about these new Delta variants and these new strains of COVID and coronavirus, like initially, like me, you're probably thinking, oh, here we go again. Like we just got out of this whole quarantine, this whole pandemic. We thought we were moving towards a post-pandemic world. And guess what happens? Well, California has already they reenacted or reactivated the mask mandate. A lot of major and minor cities around the United States are going back to mandating masks and basically responding to this new COVID strain and variant that's emerging. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because there are a lot of industries and there are a lot of markets that are starting to basically grapple and scramble. They're grappling, they're scrambling. We're talking about major industries, major markets. So when I say industries, I'm talking about like the hospitality industry, the restaurant industry, the real estate industry, the funding and lending industries. Those are industries. But then there are a lot of markets like certain cities. California is experiencing it. Maybe New York and other larger metroplexes, and maybe some small markets. But as a result of this new COVID strain or variant or whatever it is that's emerging, there are a lot of markets and there are a lot of industries that are starting to grapple and scramble to once again reposition themselves. Now, for the last 16, 17 months since March of 2020, markets and industries, businesses, churches, families, communities, this world has been scrambling and grappling, trying to reposition themselves for what they knew and what we all knew would be a new norm in a post-pandemic world. And so now that these new strains and these new variants of COVID are starting to emerge, it's important for you to be able to discern the importance of not just repositioning yourself, but how you have to reposition yourself, why you have to reposition yourself, where you have to reposition yourself, and with what do you need to reposition yourself. So all of the whys, the hows, the whats, the wheres, all of these things, these questions, these issues, these items, these challenges that we're facing are all stemming from, ladies and gentlemen, the emergence of new viruses, the emergence of new variants, the emergence of new strains of COVID-19 when most of the world thought we were in a post-pandemic world, we were past the pandemic, and now it seems like people have to go through this whole process again. Here's the problem with that, because this is leading to what I want to share with you on how to take unreasonable actions in business. Because what this creates is it creates this drive and this desperation for most people, especially those who are breadwinners and financiers of their families, or if you're leaders, or if you're business owners and entrepreneurs. What this leads to is for most people to try to reposition themselves just to survive the effects of all this information. So on one hand, a lot of people are trying to figure out, how do I survive the effects of the COVID outbreak and the new emergence of the COVID variants and strains. That's one thing that people are trying to do. How do I reposition myself to survive that? But then there's a whole nother group of people, and some of you know what I'm talking about because you represent this group. There's a whole nother group of people who are just trying to reposition themselves just to survive the fear and the uncertainty that pandemics bring. So you might not even be a victim of COVID-19. You might have had COVID-19 but have overcome it. So your drive and your desperation to reposition yourself based on the news that's out right now and based on all the challenges that we face culturally and economically, yours might not be a medical issue that you're trying to reposition yourself to survive. Yours may be a financial issue. Yours may be an economic issue. Yours may be a ministry issue. There are a lot of churches and ministries that I know personally are suffering financially and economically to the extent that they've had to close their ministries. They've had to permanently close their churches. There are businesses that have had to close permanently that will never return again. And this is beyond just the norm of what we know statistically will close. There are certain businesses and churches and ministries and organizations that will statistically close. But a lot of people are suffering today because they are repositioning themselves again, but only to survive not just a medical pandemic, but to survive the fear and the uncertainty that comes from it. So my point is not to minimize the severity and the seriousness of outbreaks and pandemics like the COVID outbreak and pandemic. My objective really is just to highlight, in addition to that, how so many people are driven and become desperate to just survive, not the effects of it, because they might not necessarily be affected medically, but to survive the fear and the uncertainty that it brings. In other words, just in case I lost you the first few minutes of the show, in other words, here's what I want to get to. A lot of people are struggling not because they have to struggle. A lot of people are broke not because they have to be broke. A lot of people are on a treadmill going nowhere fast economically, not because they have to. A lot of people are suffering from bankruptcy and bad credit and no income or low income or a lack of resources, not because they have to, but because of how they have positioned themselves in a society based on fear and uncertainty, which means it's based on how they reposition themselves. That could be around the wrong people. It could be in the wrong places. It could be around the wrong things. But nevertheless, we are where we are because of certain decisions that either we have made or we have allowed people to make. Now, again, we're not taking away the fact that there are just some things we can't control. There are some cultural things we can't control. There are some economic things we can't control. There are some natural things, spiritual things that we just can't control. But I'm talking about the side that we can control. Culturally, I can't control the fact that I'm black. Like, I can't change that. I can't control that narrative. I can't control it, not to the extent that I can become somebody else. I can try to, but it ain't gonna work. All right? Spiritually, there are certain things I can't control. I can't control the sovereignty of God. God gonna be God. He gonna do what he do. All right? Economically, there are certain things I can't control as far as the world and the country or the state that I live in or the city that I live in. There's just certain economic things I can't control. Physically, there are certain things I can't control, like my limitations. There are just certain things I might not be able to physically do. I can't control the fact physically that I can't stay up 40 days straight. At some point, I'm gonna just pass out because I don't have the physical capabilities of doing it. So I'm showing you there are certain things that we can't control, but I'm talking about the controllable things. The controllable things. And so if you want to know how to successfully take unreasonable actions in business, the first thing, here's what I want you to understand. The first thing you need to do, and I really want you to write these things down that I'm sharing with you today, because this is kind of like, I felt like the preacher coming on me last night and early this morning when I was prepping up for today's show. I felt the preacher coming up on me because I knew that some of the stuff that I'm sharing with you is more of a sermon to get you kick-started, because most of your problems are not uncontrollable. Most of your problems are controllable, but you got to take control of your narrative. And so in order for you to do that, you got to stop thinking that your life is like the Wheel of Fortune. You ever seen the game show, The Wheel of Fortune, with Pat Sajak? And what you do is, as a contestant, you just stand there, right? And what you got to do, you got to spin the wheel, but you're spinning the wheel hoping that it falls on the number that you want or the benefit that you want. That ain't the way your life should be set up, and it's definitely not the way your finances and your business should be set up. And if you think it's set up that way, this is one of the reasons why you are responding to what's going on around you with fear and uncertainty. Because the Wheel of Fortune as a game has a lot of uncertainty. You scared you finna go bankrupt. You scared you finna lose the game. In real life, when it comes to you securing your financial freedom, when it comes to you creating stability with your family, when it comes to you building a sustainable legacy of wealth, let me tell you something. I don't care what nobody say. A part of that narrative you control. You control a part of that narrative. Can't nobody on this planet ultimately stop you from doing everything you want to do. They may stop some things. There are some systems and some structures and some people and some places and some things that may be able to minimize your overall effect. But there's always a way. Grandma used to say that all the time. Baby, where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I want to show you how to take unreasonable actions in your business for all of you. Because one thing I hate, my team, my family, people around me, they know I hate it. Don't give me no excuse. I would rather you just be straight up with me and say, I'm scared, I'm fearful, I'm uncertainty, I'm just goofy. But don't give me no doggone excuse when I know you can control the narrative even of your excuse. So that means if you're sitting broke right now and you ain't got a pot to pee in or when to throw it out, you still control the narrative of how you respond to that. Right. There are still some things you can, well, I ain't got no money. I need a loan, or I need a bank to fund my business, or I need the right product. You don't need none of that. You need to get away from this wheel of fortune mindset thinking that you're going to wake up one day and spin the wheel and boom, your business is going to take off. It ain't. Has it happened yet? And here's the crazy thing. If you have had windfalls like that in your finances or in your business, you probably lost it because it was not sustainable, because it wasn't built on a foundation that you created to control the narrative of. I can put a period right there at the end of that statement. Okay, so when you think about taking unreasonable actions in business, here are a few things you're gonna have to do. I'm gonna give you a list of a few things you have to do, and trust me, a lot of people are gonna listen to me today, and guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna do what most people do. Here's what most people do. Before I give you these things, most people. They are realistic with their actions, and they're unreasonable with their analysis. You just missed it. Oh, that was good, and it was for free. Did you just hear what I said? See, I took good notes today for myself. Let me say it again. Most people are realistic with their actions and unreasonable with their analysis. When the truth is, you should be unreasonable with your actions and realistic with your analysis. You see how that's backwards for some people? So let me explain to you how that works. Some people are realistic with their actions. Well, I just got to be realistic with this, because the only thing I'm going to be able to do is pay this one bill. The only thing I'm going to be able to do is hire one person. The only thing I'm going to be able to do is work from home because I can't afford an office space. The only thing I'm going to be able to do is to call 5 people because realistically, I only have an hour today. You're being realistic with your actions, but you're unreasonable with your analysis. Because when you analyze things that you need to do, notice how unreasonable most people are. If you talk to somebody who overanalyzes stuff, they'll give you every reason why they haven't made a sale. They'll give you every reason why their business is not booming. Oh, the market is soft right now. I used to hear this all the time in real estate. People talking about they want to get into real estate. Oh, I'm a real estate investor. Oh, do you invest right now? Well, no, I'm not investing right now because the market is soft and, you know, this is a seller's market and blah, 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 blah. Now, dog, now, boo, you ain't investing in real estate because you are you are realistic in your actions, and you're unreasonable in your analysis. So think about all the things, for those of you that are business owners and entrepreneurs, think about all the things you thought about doing today that you haven't done. Think about all the things you thought about doing that you haven't done. Think about all the strategies you got on paper. Think about all the notes that you have taken about how you're going to build your business. Think about that cold business plan you got. Think about that business plan you got. You got this amazing business plan. Oh, I'm going to do this in 2 years, and then I'm going to buy this, and then I'm going to go from 1 property to 15 properties. I'm going to start out with myself, and I'm going to pay somebody as a contractor on the side, and then I'm going to hire 5 people. All that's unreasonable analysis. But you're taking realistic actions because you're waking up every day and you're afraid to put all your eggs in the basket. Why are you afraid to do that? Because you're uncertain about what you not necessarily know. You're uncertain about what you don't know. And so I want to show you that there's a way you can take unreasonable actions in business because you put yourself in a position to have the faith, not fear, and the certainty, not uncertainty, to know without a shadow of a doubt, there is no way I can lose taking these actions. There's no way I can lose. Like, there's some things in life that I know I'm uncertain about, but there are a few things I know I'm not uncertain about. And the few things I'm getting ready to share with you that you need to do, that you need to have in your life in order to take unreasonable actions in business, are the things I live by every day. So, Ramon, what is the first thing I need to do to be able to take unreasonable actions in business? Do you know what unreasonable means? Well, let me see what reasonable means. Reasonable, the word reasonable, I told y'all I'm teaching today, this is going to be a sermon. Reasonable means fair. Reasonable means average. Reasonable means in the middle. If you look up the word reasonable, you're going to find words like logic, things that make sense, things that have been processed. When something is reasonable, it is logically clear. It is understood. But I like these words. It's fair. It's mediocre. So most people take reasonable actions, which means they take logical actions. They take fair actions. But what you don't understand, if you're that kind of entrepreneur, if you're that kind of person that wants to get your finances together, the reason why you ain't winning is because you taking reasonable actions. You can't take reasonable actions in business. The people who are winning in business are people who are unreasonable. They are unreasonable. I had every excuse just within the last few weeks to be reasonable in how I did business. And what did I do? I became more unreasonable. I became more ridiculous. I can always find a reason to push the gas. I can always find a reason to pump the brakes. But guess what? I choose to be unreasonable because when reason tells me, hey dog, there's a red light, would you please hit the brakes? My unreasonable action has already hit the gas. Oh, you got it. And I'm shooting through the light. Gone to the next thing. And that's what you got to do in your business and your finances. Some of you are reasonably saving. Have you ever noticed? Because broke people know this for sure. When you get a little bit of money and you have a broke mentality, you put that money in the bank and you watch it like every day. Like income tax time or something, you get like $1,000 or $2,000, $3,000. You'll put that money in a savings account. Now you know you finna. My family, I always tell them this every year, because some of my family, they'll call me, can you hold $2,000 for me? I'm not holding it for you because you're gonna call me back in like 2 weeks. You're being reasonable when what you should do is take that $2,000 and invest in your education. So in 2 weeks, you could be a better version of you. See there? But see, to them, that's unreasonable. Well, it needs to be unreasonable, because if you keep doing things that make sense, you're going to keep landing where you at. See, I keep winning. I keep moving forward. There has never, and I can say this with all sincerity, and I appreciate the Lord to be able to have this testimony. I thought about this the other day. When I was living in South Florida, 18 years ago this year, I was living in South Florida. Was it 18 years ago? Yeah. No, it's 2021. Okay, so 20 years ago, 2021, 2001. I'm just showing you something. In 2001, because you said it to me the other day, that's what triggered it. Remember we was walking outside and you was like, oh, you know what? You was saying something. You was like, oh, I forgot. You ain't worked for nobody in so long. You don't even know what it means to work for nobody. I was like, oh, you right. Yeah, I forgot. I just been grinding out. But it was in 2001, I was working on a job. And again, I work my job today. The position I hold, the role that I play in my company is a job for me. I have to wake up every day and clock in to assume my role and my responsibility. But I was working on a job that I knew wasn't going nowhere. They wasn't going nowhere and I wasn't going nowhere. But 20 years ago, it seemed reasonable to just show up every day to make $10 an hour. It seemed reasonable to hold on to that job with everything that was in me, because at the time I couldn't see on the other side of being unreasonable until I got fired. And when I walked in that office and I heard those two famous words, daughter, you fired. Then I realized being reasonable led me to being broke. And that was the last job that I got fired from. And I made a commitment to myself. I made a commitment to God that I will never put myself in a position. And that doesn't mean I wasn't going to work now. It meant that I would not put myself in a position to be so reasonable about success that I find myself failing because of the lack of decisions I need to make that were unreasonable, the lack of actions I need to make that were unreasonable. And from that time to this time, this is my point in bringing that up, I can sincerely, honestly, with all humility say, not a year has gone by in the last 20 years, I'm talking about starting from below the bottom, scrapping every day, grappling every day for the last 20 years, just waking up every day, trying to figure this thing out, learning, studying, self-educating myself. But not a year has gone by in 20 years, ladies and gentlemen, that I have gone backwards financially or economically. So every year for the last 20 years has gotten better and better and better. And we're talking about it's gotten better and better for many of these years when I didn't know nothing that I know now. For most of those years, other than maybe the last 3 or 4 years, I didn't know what I know about wealth building. I didn't know what I know about commercial real estate investing. I didn't know what I know about certain wealth building systems and structures that could help me move further quicker economically. I'm talking about for most of those years, I didn't know any of that. As a matter of fact, for 16 or 17 out of the last 20 years, 17 of them, I didn't know what I know now. It's just been the last 3 years. So how did I survive those 17 years? How did I continue to move forward? How did I continue to always have a better year the next year than the previous year? Because I became unreasonable in my actions. I decided to do the very things that I'm telling you that you need to do. Here's the first thing you need to do. Write this down. The first thing you need to do in how to take unreasonable actions in business is, number one, show up. Show up. Write that down. Show up. And I made sure I put show up first because I'm going to explain to you something that you need to learn. And I'm really getting ready to drop the hammer on some of you entrepreneurs because either you're going to put up or shut up. Somebody need to get on your behind. Somebody need to just step right up in your face and tell you, stop flossing, stop capping, stop lying to yourself, get off your behind and make something happen. In other words, show up. Show up. Show up. Stop lying to yourself and to your family. Oh, you know I love y'all. You know I got you, boo. You know I'm going to do it. God going to work that. He ain't going to do nothing for you if you ain't doing nothing for you. Because Ephesians 3:20 says, now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or think. Here's the last clause. According to the power that works in you. So as able as God is, he has put a clause, an amendment in his contract with you that if you don't show up to do the deal ain't going to get done. You got to show up. I want you to say that to yourself. I got to show up every day. Say this. I got to show up for me first. Ooh. See, I don't have a problem showing up for my wife. I don't have a problem showing up for my team. I don't have a problem showing up for the people that need me to lead them to the promised land. You know why? Because I'm showing up for Ramon. I'm showing up for Ramon. The first thing you need to do if you want to learn how to take unreasonable actions in business, meaning in your finances, your credit toe up, you broke, you struggling, you ain't got no money, you trying to get to the top, you trying to move ahead, you trying to get out of survival mode. Well, one thing you got to do is show up. You got to show up. You got to show up. Now, here's why I said show up before anything else. Because some of you are being over analytic and over reasonable and over logical with processing what you think you need in order to show up. Right? This is where some of you are stuck at right now. You know you don't know what you're doing. You know you don't have enough what it takes for you to get past where you are. In other words, you know you're stuck. So how do you get unstuck? Get unstuck. You just missed it. How do you get from where you at to where you want to be? Just get from where you at to where you want to be. How do you get up? How do you get up? You just get up. How do you go? How do I go into the other room? But I know it's an easy way. Like, can one of y'all help me? How do I get in that other room, y'all? How do I get over there? Because I know it's 7 steps to get in that room. I know God will make a way for me to get in that room. At some point, you're going to be like, if you don't get your behind up and just walk in there, what's the same way? You got to show up for you. Show up. You got to show up. You got to show up for yourself. And so when I say show up, here's what I'm trying to get to. You got to show up and get around people even when you don't know what you need to know to be around them. You see what I mean? Like, you just need to show up. Like, I still have people talking to me and commending me about how I showed up last month in Miami. My first time. I've been working on getting down there for a couple years. I finally get down there, and what did I tell you before I left here? That week, I told you, I'm going to get in that front. I told you, I'm going to get up there. I told her that. And I be saying so much, you got to really just catch some stuff I say, because you think I'm just shooting the breeze, but I'm really saying something that I'm going to do. I'm really saying something. You got to learn to know the people who say certain things. Like me, I'll say 3 or 4 things, but it might be small. But something I say, you better believe if I say it, I'm determined. I'm determined. I might not be like extra and aggressive, but my determination is so strong. I know as long as I show up, I have a better chance of making something happen. But what if I did not show up to Miami? That would have never happened. That would have never happened. But I showed up. And watch this. I showed up in a room that was full of people that I didn't know. These were total strangers. And one thing I hate, if you know me, I hate strangers. I hate feeling like I'm around strangers. That's one pet peeve I had, and I think that's one of the greatest strengths I have. Because when I go in the room, if I feel like I don't know nobody, something wrong with me, huh? Something wrong with me. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Hey, what up, cuz? What up, boy? I just gotta I gotta go home. Everywhere I go, I gotta make that my home. In my mind, I really have to do that. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just wired to adapt to environments and climates, but guess what? When I show up, I'm gonna show up. And some of you need to make that decision too, because who you are to your family right now today is a different person that you are to your customers and clients. And that shouldn't be the case. My customers and clients know I'm just as crazy as my family do. So if I'm gonna go off or have a hissy fit or have one of my moments just being who I am, I don't care who around. I'm finna do it. Because that's just who I am, and I'm gonna just get past it. I'm gonna grow and get better. But guess what? If I do that and it benefits people, and I hold that back, I'm holding back something that I should have showed up to be. So here's what it means to show up. To show up means to come or to arrive. To show up means, here's a good definition. I love this definition. Somebody need to write this down. To show up means, oh my God, I made this one up too. To own your present. Think about that. So to show up means to own your present. So God has given you a gift, and the gift is called the present. You're living now. So if you're stuck in what happened yesterday, if you still stuck in the pandemic because you got laid off, if you still stuck in the divorce, if you still stuck in the bankruptcy, the foreclosure, the repossession, if you still stuck in the check systems your bank account stuck in, guess what happened? You are not showing up because you're not owning your present. And if you're so overwhelmed by where you think you should be in front of you, and you're disappointed and distraught because you ain't there, you're still failing to show up. So today needs to be the day. Like some of you right now, at least after this show, guess what you need to do? Show up. You need to show up, and that means you need to pick that phone up and call every client in your database. You need to email everybody in your database. You need to call all your family members and friends, and you need to make it up in your mind. I'm getting ready to be unreasonable today. I'm gonna take one after the other unreasonable action, and I'm gonna make me some money today. I'm gonna help somebody today. I'm gonna serve somebody today. That's one of the things we do every day. We come in here before we have our briefing. We pray, and one of the things that I typically say when I'm praying is, we got to help some people today. Lord, help us help people. Give us that revelation. Give us the strength. Give us the wisdom. Give us the capabilities. Help us. Send people to us that we can help serve, that we can change their life, that we can give them what they need to get to their next level. So for me to call, for me to email, for me to text, for me to have an appointment, for me to knock on doors, for me to just communicate with people, take them to lunch, and even lose opportunities is not an issue, because as long as I keep showing up, something is going to happen. So to show up means to what? To own your present. I want you to say that to yourself. Say, today, I must own my present. So that means you got to take advantage and make the most of right now. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to show up. And showing up, again, is more important. It's senior to everything else. Like some of you have been watching me and listening to me for so long, but you're not a part of what we're doing. You know why? Because you ain't showed up. Oh, I forgot. You ain't got the money, right? Oh, I forgot. I just ain't got time right now. Oh, I forgot. This is just the wrong season. For who? For who? What if you were one decision away from showing up that could change your life? you would probably show up so your life could be changed. But you'll never know. Guess why? Because you won't show up. Because you got other problems. You got other issues like money. Money ain't never been no issue to me. I got plenty of it, and I still don't care about it because I'm thinking about new money. I got plenty of opportunities right now, but I'm looking at new opportunities. There are a whole lot of things I got going on in my life that I could be excited about. But guess what? I don't want to be so excited about it that I get stuck in it and I miss the present. Because one thing about time, it keeps on ticking. Anybody heard that song before? Time keeps on ticking, ticking, ticking. Yeah, time keeps ticking. And so some of you are stuck where you were the first time you heard me. The first time I said something that resonated in you, guess what? You should have moved on it. Man, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up. Like there's never, I can't think of an opportunity that I found myself in front of that I didn't make the decision to show up. And I got that from the streets. See, I was groomed in the hood, in the streets. You know, my daddy was an old pimp. He was an old gangster. He was a hustler, and he groomed me. He put that grit in me, and when I was coming up, I was like living for the moment. So it was no such thing as, hey man, let's do that next week, dawg. Hey, what up, homeboy? Y'all want to do this 2 weeks from now? Like planning, I didn't even know what planning meant coming up. Anticipation of tomorrow, like what that meant. No, it was right now. We finna hit a lick. We ain't finna hit a lick next month. We finna hit a lick today. If somebody out there finna get got, you ain't gonna get got before Christmas. Yeah, I got you, boy. I'm gonna get you. Wait until Thanksgiving. Wait until I see you around Thanksgiving now. Let me catch you around here Christmas time. I ain't never had no doggone conversation with somebody. Hey man, y'all wanna get high for New Year's? No, bruh, we wanna get it now, bruh. Y'all wanna go to the club next year when the new one opens? No, we finna find one now. Y'all wanna gamble 2 years from now? I mean, come on, we did that when we were doing wrong. So now in business, I'm showing you in business, in life, in getting to the next level, you need to have that same grit, that same determination, and you need to say, you know what? I don't even know if I'm supposed to be here, but I just have to show up. I just have to show up. And here's what's crazy, y'all. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna move on to the next one. When I went to Miami a couple weeks ago, remember? That happened, me being able to share a little bit of my story for that 45 seconds to a minute and a half. But the day before, Brandon and his team, they ripped a new one in us. They ripped a new one in us. When I say ripped a new one in us, they made us feel like this, but it was intentional because we were answering questions. You see, this is the workbook that I had. We had to go through this whole workbook right here. So day one, like the first 2 hours of that event, the first 2 hours, they ripped a new one. But this guy, he sold his last business for $151 million, right? He got his own jet. He just bought a condo, like dude, filthy rich, right? He's rolling with rich people, right? So he gets up there and he's listening to us who we might be $1 million earners, 6-figure earners. Few people in there might have a couple $1 million running through their business, but all of us together don't make up what he done did. So he looking at us, I'm not saying disrespectfully or demeaning us or condescending, he was just showing us how small our think was. So he ripped a new one in us because we were answering questions, right? And some of the questions were like centered around your belief and your confidence. So it's like, are you confident in A, B, C, D? Between 1, no confidence, and 10, real confidence. You know all us, we just in there 10. I'm 10. And then guess who the goofball was sitting in the front? He asked first. You. Me. Because I'm walking in there with my blue signature suit on, sitting in the front. And I'm the first goofball. Anybody want to tell me what you wrote down? Yeah, I will. I'm the first one. And I felt like Medea in court. And he was like, so how did you get to the 10? I was like, well, the reason why, what had happened was, and he like, no, dog, how did you get to 10? How were you that confident? And I was like, you know what? I actually don't know. I don't know how I got to that. He was like, if you don't have 1,000 employees, you ain't even a 2. All the air came out of the room. And everybody, you could hear crickets. And I was like, well, thank you, dog. At least I know now. I chalked it up. And guess what he said about 30 minutes later? He said, I challenged a woman in one of our last sessions on the same thing, and she got offended and walked out. But guess what I was thinking? Hey, I don't care. You the one rich. I'm goofy. I'd rather be goofy and rich than think I know it all and still broke. But what if I would have got offended? What if I wouldn't have showed up and said, you know what, I ain't coming tomorrow because they think they all that, they rich. No, they know what they're talking about because they're rich. They know what they're talking about when it comes to business and when it comes to finances. So guess what I did the next day? I showed up. And right before the meeting, one of his key people walked up to me, hey, can we pull you up to the front? I was like, whoop, there it is. What if I got offended? And after the first event, the first day, guess what I did? Walked up to him, hugged him. Man, I love you, man. Can I get a picture? Man, I admire you. Thank you so much for what you shared with me. It helped me. It really broke me down. And I mentioned it in my statement. If you heard me, I said Brandon made me feel like $2 and some change. Yeah. He ate a new hole in me. Wow. He let me know for sure. I don't care how good you is, you ain't that good. Wow. Not with 3-4 employees. You got $1 million business, so what? I just sold my last one for $151 million. Sit down somewhere. Sit your behind down. You moving and shaking in your behind, not in your bank account. Yep. The second thing you need to do is study relentlessly. Study relentlessly. Hey, I know I be talking a lot of junk, but if you listen to me, I'm telling you, you're going to win because I know I'm a winner. I know I'm a winner. I have no doubt in my mind. Okay, so the second thing you need to do if you want to know how to take unreasonable actions in business is you have to what? You have to study relentlessly. You have to study relentlessly. This is a good class, by the way, today. I'm teaching and preaching all at the same time. You have to study relentlessly. Study relentlessly. So I want you to repeat these words after me. Say, I must study relentlessly. Come on, say it. Stop goofing off on the other side of this video camera. Say, I must study relentlessly. Okay, now let me show you what study means, because some of you don't know how to study. I'm a professor. I'm a Bible student. I'm a theologian, a Bible scholar. Like, I'm a preacher, a homiletician. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an educator, trainer, consultant, coach. So I know about studying. You can't trick me with this, okay? So there are 4 study skills that you have to have in order to study relentlessly. I can guarantee 9 out of 10 people don't get past the first skill. There are 4 study skills. 9 out of 10 people don't get past the first one. I know they don't. I can listen to people and tell if they studied. When y'all come in here every morning and we have our briefings, I know when you're studying. Or when you just did number 1, the first skill. So here's what it means to study. To study, it's made up of 4 study skills. I want you to write these 4 study skills down. The first skill is information. The second skill is reading. The third skill is notes or note taking. And the fourth skill is techniques. In order for you to properly study, remember this, if you were in my Bible school or my school of ministry or school of prophets or my university, I'll probably be telling you this in one of our classes. In order for you to properly study, you have to execute the 4 study skills. That's information, reading, note taking, and techniques. Let me show you how it works. So in order to study, this is the second step on how to take unreasonable actions in business. Remember, the first thing you did was what? What was the first thing you did? You showed up. Yeah. So you don't have to wait until you get money to show up to join my coaching program. That was a free plug, wasn't it? Yeah. You don't have to wait. Why are you waiting? Just show up. Maybe if you showed up, the money would. But you will never know because you never show up. My wife and my team, they'll tell you, I don't be thinking about the money part. If it's something I need to do, I'm doing it. We'll figure out the money part once I show up and take the action. But until then, I'm not going to let the money be the problem. The problem is my inactivity. So you need to study. How do you study? Number one, you have to gather the correct information. This is the information skill. You have to become skilled at gathering the correct information. Up until 2017, I knew a lot about residential real estate. My wife and I had been in real estate for years. I knew a lot about financial literacy because we had lenders and bankers and credit specialists. We had all kind of people that we worked with on our team to help our customers and clients out, all right? I knew a lot about leadership. I knew a lot about systems and processes because we built a business and a nonprofit organization from scratch. But here's the thing. All the information that I was gathering was not the correct information for wealth building and legacy building. So I was gathering a lot of information, but most of the business and financial information that I was gathering, even the information that I studied and researched, was from people, places, and things that were all middle class. People who were stuck. People who were on this treadmill. They were in this rat race. So the information was not the correct information for me to build wealth. So if you're going to properly study, the first thing you need to do, or the skill you need to have, is the skill of gathering correct information. Like some people will be listening to me right now, and then they're going to go to some other internet guru and listen to them. And then later on, they're going to listen to another internet guru. And then later on today, they'll listen to another internet guru. And then later on tonight, they listen to another internet guru. And then 3 in the morning, they start Googling and searching on YouTube for other internet gurus. And here's the problem. You're gathering a whole lot of information. Most of it is not correct in order to get you to where you really want to go. Because you don't have the skill of gathering correct information. So that means I can listen to an internet guru. I can read a book. I can listen to an audio book. I can watch a video. I can go in a room and listen to people talk. And I can immediately tell what they're saying is not the correct information I need to gather. I shut them out. Remember I told you when we were preparing to put our company on a coaching program, yes, so that we could validate what we're doing as coaches. Mm-hmm. I was researching a couple major coaching programs that were being led by some major well-known coaches. Well, come to find out, almost all of them were just internet coaches because they wasn't living what they were coaching. Oh, wow. So you really can't take me in action where you could take me in theory. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a professor, mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. You went to college. I didn't. I'm glad somebody went. You too. Y'all college graduates. My wife was too. Like, I'm so glad I got all these college people around me. Thank you so much for making me look so smart. I'm so serious. Like, you all are just like, Oh man, I'm just an entrepreneur. I'm the risk taker. So y'all come along and fix everything. Like I throw spaghetti on the wall and y'all put a plate together to make it real nice. So I appreciate y'all so much. Yeah, I do. I need educated people. I need people who are polished, who are professional, who are credentialed, who are degreed, because I'll be everywhere. Like if I didn't have my team, man, I'm telling y'all. So even if you're not educated, you still need to invest in education, and sometimes it's in the education of the people who are really educated. But here's my point. Here's my point. What was my point? I forgot what my point was. What was I talking about? Gathering information, gathering correct. Oh, the internet gurus, the coaches. So I'm listening to them, but almost all of them were not taking action that matched what they were teaching. And then here's what got me. One of the last ones that I was researching, he was talking about the one we ended up joining. I knew he was wrong. I was like, oh yeah. 2 of them talked about him. About Yep. 2 of them were talking about my aunt. I was like, wow, you were hating. Because you hating on that guy. Because that guy, yes, he might be very extra, but I'm extra. I like to be around people who just don't care, but who's actually living up to being extra. Don't be extra and broke. Don't be high maintenance and struggling. Like you got to choose one of the 2. But two of the internet coach gurus, they were talking about the one, and I was like, yeah, dog, y'all ain't it. Y'all ain't it. So in order to study, the first skill is you got to gather correct information. Number 2, you have to engage in effective reading. How do you engage in effective reading? Like this has become a lesson in showing you how to actually study. This is how once you gather the correct information, now you have to engage in effective reading. The operative word is effective, meaning that you have to keep reading or keep listening or keep watching until something does what? Take effect. So if you're listening to something, or you're reading something, or you're watching something, whether it's audio or video or paper, and it doesn't take effect in you, that means you haven't read it. You need to reread it. You need to reread it. I say this to people all the time who are on our blueprint game plan. There is no way you can go through all of those video courses and come out saying, man, I ain't learned nothing. Because you didn't read it. You read it, but you didn't read it. You watched it, but you didn't watch it. You saw it and heard it, but you didn't see it and hear it because it wasn't effective. Something has to take effect when you properly read. The third skill to studying is you have to take efficient notes. You have to be efficient in note taking. So now when you read and it's taking effect on you, there are some things that should pop out that you notate. Oh my God. Oh my God. See this book right here? Look. All I got is notes. I got, like, we didn't even get out the first page. I got notes all in here. I got notes. And they got notes for you, but I took notes the whole time. Because while I'm reading and listening, there are other things coming to me. And guess what? It may not be things that they said, but what they said inspired something that I was able to take a note on. So it's not necessarily me telling you certain specific things. It's just that you're reading into what I'm saying so effectively that you're pulling your own notes out. You're pulling your own formulas out. You're pulling your own strategies out. You listen to me so much that you say, you know what? I'm not Ramon, but I am Ramon. Like I do that all the time. I listen to people until I feel like I'm them. Like I feel like I take on something that's on them and it comes upon me and it becomes a part of who I am now. So the aggression, the determination, the willpower, the intelligence, the ability to communicate, the drive, the ambition. All of these things, they come to the surface when you're reading people, when you're reading content, when you're watching stuff, and all of a sudden you feel like, man, I got that personality. I got that characteristic. I have that skill set. I got that piece of DNA. And now that thing can take you to the fourth skill of studying, which is you now concentrate on executing the techniques. Now you got to concentrate. So if you're studying and all you're doing is gathering information, I told you most people don't get past the first skill. They study by gathering information, but they don't engage in effective reading. They don't become efficient in note taking, which means they never concentrate on executing certain techniques. Like, you should be able to look at me and see, man, he's moving like some of these other gurus. I love when people say that. When people say that to me, like, man, you moving like these gurus. You moving like these other companies. You moving like people who already got a jet, who already got billions of dollars. That lets me know I'm taking something from what I'm learning and I'm applying it as my own techniques. So the second thing you need to do in how to take unreasonable actions in business is study relentlessly. The third thing is you have to solve problems. You have to solve problems. Solve problems. Solve problems. To solve a problem means to untie. This is what the word solve means. This is what the word solve means. To solve means to untie. To solve means to loosen. It comes from a Latin word, solution, from where we get the English word solution. And it actually means to divide. This is so powerful. So in order for you to solve a problem, guess what you have to do? You have to divide. But in order for you to divide, in the original language of that word, it carries the idea of doing math. That's why in math there's a word called what? Divide. So when you see a math problem, it takes math to do what? To solve the problem. It doesn't just take words. Have you ever solved the math problems with more words? No, you solve the math problem with numbers. So in order to solve problems, I want you to hear me. Some of you need to catch this. In order for you to solve problems, guess what you actually have to do? You have to sell products and services. You have to take items, exchange them for numbers, meaning that you have to solve people's problems with the things that you have that bring value to them and fixes their life. And as a result of that exchange, you're able to generate revenue for your business to continue to expand it so you can continue to succeed. So solving problems is actually an original form of selling. Most people who are afraid to sell products and services are unable and unwilling to solve real problems. You just missed that. I hope you caught it. So how do I take unreasonable actions in business, Ramon? Show up. Number 2, study relentlessly. And number 3, solve problems. In other words, take the original word solution, which means to divide. It carries the idea of doing math, and start doing math. What do I have that I can exchange in order to solve a problem? And guess what? Some of you, this is a good plug before I go, some of you can solve the biggest problem you have, and that is a lack of resources, a lack of education and training, a lack of having the support you need, a lack of having the right systems and structure and processes. And the problem you need to solve, which is probably on the top of your problem list, is the problem of not having support that you need to actually get your business moving forward. So I want you to solve your biggest problem, especially if you're not a part of our coaching program. Yesterday, we made a big announcement that we were expanding our one-year business coaching program and upgrading it for free to everyone who's already a part of it. But this is a better offer for those of you who have been analyzing and contemplating becoming a part of our one-year business coaching program. So there are 8 upgraded benefits that we have created to give you through our one-year business coaching program. The first benefit is we start this program for you off, this one-year program, with an initial one-on-one business coaching session. During this one-on-one coaching session, me and my team, we're going to help you identify with whatever the goals are that you want to reach in your business or in your finances or even professionally for the next year. We're going to help you develop a game plan on what you actually need to do for that 52-week coaching program in order for you to hit your goal. We're going to show you how to integrate the right systems and processes, how to structure your business the correct way so that it can run efficiently. And then we're going to help you execute a plan of action so that every week for the next 52 weeks, we can keep you on course with what we have put together in that initial one-on-one business coaching session. Along with that, we have 7 other benefits that we're giving you. The second benefit is we're giving you 52 weeks of live Zoom coaching calls. So beginning within the next week or so, August the 2nd, we're going to start weekly live coaching calls. So every Monday at 5 o'clock starting August the 2nd, you're going to be able to see me, I'm going to be able to see you, and we're going to be able to talk and converse on a weekly basis. So up to this point, our coaching program did not have that benefit. But now, moving forward, we're adding that extra benefit because I need to see you and I need you to see me every 7 days. That's going to be the glue to keep you moving forward. So you have the initial one-on-one business coaching session. You have the weekly, 52 of those, 52 weekly live Zoom coaching calls. You also have 4 quarterly group coaching masterminds. These masterminds are free. We actually have an upcoming mastermind on Saturday, August the 21st. When you join the coaching program, you get access to that free. Even though if you're not a part of our coaching program, you can attend it for $29.99, but it's much better for you to be a part of the coaching program because you're going to be in the room and amongst a group of people who are going to help you continue in your flow. And we use these group coaching masterminds that we host quarterly for our coaching clients. We use them as like incubators. It's kind of like a corporate one-on-one coaching session, but it's just with a group of people. We deep dive into businesses, we assess businesses, we unpack certain issues and items that business owners have. And when you're a fly on the wall in those types of sessions, you learn so much, you take so many good notes, and you better yourself. So we have the third benefit of our quarterly group coaching masterminds. Here's another new benefit we've added. We've now added 4 quarterly VIP workshops. So up to this point, in order for our clients and customers to be a part of our workshops, that was outside of the coaching program. So what we've decided is to add the VIP workshops because we've gotten so many results from those workshops. We decided to add them. So that means every month there's a big event going on. Every month there's a big event. So you get 4 VIP workshops. Now, what are these workshops? These workshops are actually 4-hour sessions where we get into the nuts and bolts. And each of these 4 workshops, we're going to be dealing with 4 pillars to the success of your business. One of the workshops is going to be a financial workshop. It's going to be centered around accounting, tax strategies, QuickBooks, financial literacy. The second workshop is going to be on structuring holding companies, developing divisions and building subsidiaries out. How do you file your paperwork? How do you form your entity? How do you structure it the right way? The third workshop is going to be on sales. We're going to show you how to create a sales funnel, a sales pipeline, sales processes, sales programs for you and for your people. And the fourth one is going to be on marketing. We're going to put together a marketing system for you so that you can literally copy it and paste it and put it in your business. Just those 4 VIP workshops alone will keep your business trending moving forward. And everything I'm telling you, we've got data on. We've got numbers, we've got metrics, we've done research on. It's working for our company, it's working for other organizations that we are currently working with. And so you get that benefit being a part of our 1-year business coaching program. So let's go through it again. Benefit number 1 is the initial one-on-one coaching session. Number 2, 52 weeks of live Zoom coaching calls. Number 3, 4 group coaching masterminds, 1 every quarter. Number 4, 4 VIP workshops. These are live or virtual events. You can come live in person or you can attend virtually. Depends on what you want to do. If you want to show up in person or virtually, you have access, and they're recorded so you can always go back, take the handouts, the manuals, go through it over and over again. You'll have access to it. Number 5, you also get 52 weeks of what was that? I forgot the list. 52 weeks of virtual training assignments. So that means every week in between our weekly live Zoom coaching calls, you're going to have a virtual training assignment. There's a week by week training assignment that you're going to have. This is like the glue to your whole life, because you're not going to be hitting and missing. Every week you're going to be held accountable to stay on track, to stay on course. And it's easier for us to reset you every 6 or 7 days than it is every 2 or 3 weeks or every quarter. So it's going to be a much easier transition and transformation for you. The next benefit is you get a personal coaching coordinator. So there's always going to be someone dedicated and designated for you, that even between those 7-day windows, you can call, you can text, they will call, they will text, emails will be going back and forth. There's going to be all types of communication going on. If you run into a glitch, if you have an issue, if you got a question, if you're in a meeting and you're just trying to figure out what you need to do, you got a client that you're trying to close, we're going to be here with you to help you in that process. In addition to that, you also get access to our world-class blueprint game plan. That means for 1 year, for free, you don't have to add an additional price to have access to our blueprint game plan. This is our online educational training program. It is our 5-step wealth building system that we use, and we offer it separate from our coaching program, but we're adding it for free. And then last but not least, guess what we're also introducing to our coaching program? An exclusive private Facebook group. So all of our coaching clients will have access to this exclusive private Facebook group. And you like, yeah, everybody got a private Facebook group. Yeah, but everybody private Facebook group ain't doing what our people are doing. Everybody in our coaching program, even most of the people that are participating in our blueprint game plan, just clients, period, people that are in our ecosystem, anybody that we have relationships with, personally, in business, and in ministry, they're already bartering with each other, meaning that you got 2 or 3 businesses that are in our coaching program. They work with each other. They help each other. One person is good at doing this. Another person is good at doing that. And so this private Facebook community is going to be a place that our marketing executive and consultant, she's going to be on there regularly answering questions. My personal assistant, my wife, me, our team will be available on there. And guess what? There are other entrepreneurs, other executives, other clients and customers that are going to be on that private Facebook group to help answer questions and to navigate you. We're putting together a system now that we're able to identify with where all our customers and clients are, so that we can start navigating more support in that area. So whether it's California, whether it's South Florida, whether it's the Carolinas, whether it's in London or in Canada, we're starting to bring those communities and groups together so that we can provide extra support. So you get all of the above when you become a part of our 1-year business coaching program. So don't even think about it. Don't become logical and reasonable processing it and over processing it and contemplating and assessing and never taking action. I want you to look in the comments or look in the description, and I want you to text the word coaching to the numbers that you see in the description and the numbers that you see in the comments. When you text the word coaching, we're going to call you back. We're going to set you up on our coaching program. We're going to walk you through a brief assessment to help you identify with what in our program is most important to you. And we're going to process your initial payment. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to schedule your first one-on-one initial coaching call. And in addition to all that, you have 3 payment options with our 1-year business coaching program. The first option is you can pay it all in full at one time, especially if you balling and you like me, you ready to take risks. That's what I did with my coaching program. I had options. They gave me two options. They gave me a pay in full option or a payment plan option. I was like, I'm paying it in full because I just need the commitment. I need the feeling that, man, this thing gotta work for me, because this is a lot of money to put out at one time. But I paid it. They ACH'd my account within a couple days. So once I signed on the dotted line, it was a wrap. So you have an option to pay it all in full, one-time payment. You have a 12-month payment plan option for the course of the 12 months. And if you qualify, when you call us or text us coaching, we can offer you up to 24 months to pay it off. That's if you qualify. Because we don't want nobody ratchet. We don't want nobody trifling. We don't want nobody shade tree just trying to hack and get over and just do what they can do to just take from people and not give back to people. But I want you to text the word coaching if you want to be a part of our 1-year business coaching program, so we can help you start or maybe restart your business or ministry, structure or maybe restructure your business or ministry, and scale whatever it is that you're doing to that next level. I love y'all. I hope today's show, I know it did, bring value to you. Please share this video, invite family members and friends, colleagues, co-workers, neighbors, fellow students to be a part of what we're doing with the Ramonepreston Show and in this whole RP community. We're building a brand, we're building a business, but more importantly, we're building a tribe, a family, a community, and raising up a generation who could literally build a legacy and leave a legacy of wealth and success to their families and to those that follow them. So we love y'all. We're here for you. All you have to do is text us the word coaching or just reach out to us and let us know what we can do to further serve you. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to talking with you. I look forward to seeing you every 7 days at least on our live Zoom coaching calls so that we can continue to grow together, build relationships, and do great things together for our world. Have an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow right here on the Ramonepreston Show.